let's talk about COVID conversations, because it is an important discussion to have, because we need to acknowledge that the pandemic is happening and realize that not everyone thinks like you. So it is important to make sure that you guys are on the same page. And that way you're not accidentally crossing boundaries and then making both of you super uncomfortable. So let's make sure we know how to handle that. So the first thing I want to talk about is handling the conversation itself. It's really important to remember to come from a place of understanding. Try to understand first before you react and respond. Come into the conversation, just try to understand her perspective on this and recognize that everyone does have differing values and beliefs on this area, and that it's okay for people to have differing views from you. It's just about you deciding how comfortable you are with that, if you can make it work, and if you want to move forward. That is it. It's just like when people share they have differing religious beliefs from you, right? You're not going to judge them, I would hope, and then try to all of a sudden tell them how their religious beliefs are not right. That's not very nice. You just decide that if it's at a level that's comfortable for you to date them, or you realize it's not. It's the same thing with COVID. There's so many people that come to the conversation already ready to attack and prove someone wrong because they want to prove themselves right. But just to let you know, if you feel that you need someone else to be wrong for you to be right, that's not right. It's not. Right? So remembering that when you are handling any sort of COVID conversation, once again, understand first. Then you can share your beliefs. And then if you realize it's not going to work, it's not aligned with you, then move forward. You don't want to waste anyone's time. And that's why these conversations are important to have. Now, that's on just handling the conversation itself and remembering that intent. Now, let's talk about when these COVID moments happen, so that way you're not crossing boundaries and making anyone uncomfortable by assuming certain things. So the first moment when these COVID conversations pop up is when you transition to a date. So it could be a video date, it could be an in-person date, whichever it is, you just want to level up from texting. This is when it's important to ask her what she's comfortable with. So let's say you're comfortable with an in-person date, but you don't know if she is. So it's important to acknowledge that you want to transition with her out of texting, but is she open with a video date? Or, hey, I'm open to getting coffee with you as well. What are you comfortable with? It's that simple. It's just saying, I want to get us out of texting. I want to connect with you more, but I'm curious, are you open to a video call? Or I'm open to just taking a walk as well, if you're open to that. And allow her to kind of share with you what she's comfortable with. And then you take it from there. Now, usually the second moment this comes up is if she chooses to do a video call, right? And at the end of the video call, you realize you do like her and you want to continue dating her. You want to meet up with her in person eventually. So then it's important to have that conversation, ask, hey, I'm just curious, like, what are you comfortable with? Like, are you wanting to just keep doing these video calls until someone is vaccinated or until this is all over? Or, are you open to seeing each other in person eventually? And maybe that's when she'll tell you, yeah, eventually, yes. I just want to build more trust and rapport until I'm comfortable. Then you get to decide if the way that dating is potentially moving forward is aligned with you, or you realize, ooh, I'm not going to do video calls for months and months and months until this is over. That's just not going to happen for me. So that's when you can decide from there if you're on the same page or not. Right? The next time these COVID moments or conversations come up is during an in-person date. It could be the first in-person date, or it could be technically your third date, but your other two were video calls. Whichever it is, you're seeing each other in person. This is where you're really seeing if the person is keeping themselves distant or they're wearing a mask the whole entire time. It is a greater opportunity during this moment to have that conversation to see what their beliefs are on all of this. But it comes up more when you want to give them a hug, when you want to hold her hand, when you want to put your arm over her shoulder. So how do you handle those moments when you want to actually be physically close? No, you don't want to just go in for the hug or go in for the kiss. That could be really uncomfortable for someone. And it's not about you. What if it's really just about how she feels unsafe during these COVID times. So the appropriate way to handle that is by making a statement playfully that you do want to hold her hand, but asking if that is okay. So this is a time where asking for permission is okay. You don't go for it. So playfully, what do I mean by that? It's simply by stating, gosh, I want to give you a hug right now, but is that okay? Like, I sanitize my hands, did we build that trust enough yet? And that way it's a playful kind of thing instead of something so serious. And at that point, usually she would answer something along the lines of, oh yeah, like that's fine. And then she'll give you a hug, or she'll say, I'm sorry, like not yet, but I'm just not quite comfortable yet. And if she says she's not comfortable yet, that allows you to lead to the discussion of, oh, is it because of COVID, or is it because she's just a more slower to warm up person physically? So either way. But once again, you want to make that statement, make it playful, and ask for permission. Is it weird? Pre-pandemic, it's sometimes a little odd to ask for permission, but is it weird during this time? Absolutely not. Because if you do that, she knows that you're just caring and you just want to make sure you're not stepping over boundaries, and that's what really helps with it. All right? So that's the talk of COVID conversations. I hope that helps you handle this weird time dating during this whole thing. But it's important to have, it's important to acknowledge, and that way you two can move through dating smoothly without things getting super awkward. All right? Thank you guys so much for listening to this video, and get out there and continue dating. It's obviously still possible.